how he was abducted was actually caught on camera. And yet, up to today, the state authorities continue to say they don't know where Sombath is and refuse to give any information about his whereabouts. And we have not heard about his fate.
Young Organic Farmers meeting was held in Laos, the country where Sombath Somphone was born and where he lived most of his life, because we met Sombath for the first time in a conference on gross national happiness. And Sombath, he chaired that meeting. He brought in also people from Laos. First YOF, which we organized, was in Paksay, in the young organic farmers farm. And then it happened that Sombath disappeared. That is really so terrible, and that we share this and that we keep the legacy of Sombath to continue with his work. So it's very important that we continue this impulse of Sombath.
Thank you for letting me join this Sombath lecture. And I'm really honored to be in the presence of Dr. Vandana Shiva. Just quickly, I would just say a few words about Sombath. Who is Sombath? He is a Lao community development worker, spent 30 years of his life working mostly in agriculture, but branching out into other areas as community development, education, especially for young people. So over the last 30 years, through his actual work and practical experience, especially at the community level, Sombath has developed his own vision, which he had learned needed to be environmentally sustainable. He shared these development practices and ideas across many communities, but he also shared them especially with young people. He believed that the young people, like yourselves, the young organic farmers, is the energy for change. Because he was Laos' most well-known civil society leader and community development worker, what he said was heard, and he became the voice of the silent majority. The vested political and economic power groups want to silence. How he was abducted was actually caught on camera. And yet, up to today, the state authorities continue to say they don't know where Sombath is and refuse to give any information about his whereabouts. And we have not heard about his fate.
I got involved in agriculture 10 years before Sombath because of the total violence of the Green Revolution. It creates what I have called an agriculture for killing. The earth, the water, the butterflies, the bees, and our indigenous cultures and our indigenous knowledge and a capacity for compassion. The Green Revolution was nothing but changing the seed to absorb more chemicals. United Nations said these should not be called high-yielding varieties. They are high-response varieties. They don't produce more if you don't have the chemicals. They produce less. They're only good for chemicals, but with the chemicals, you need 10 times more water. My study on Punjab has shown that. So it destroys the water. 10 units of input go to produce 1 unit of food in energy terms in the chemical farming system. In the organic system, when we work with nature and the cycles, 1 unit of input produces 10 units of good food. And my work in Navdanya has shown we grow more food when we grow diversity. We grow less food when we grow monoculture. This is scientifically established now. In you know, in the West, where industrial foods have been grown, about 60% of the nutrients have disappeared because of the method of chemical farming. So when we have indigenous seeds bred for nutrition, they're nutritionally dense. More than that, native seeds are cooperative because they're based on compassion. They're based on care for each other. Whereas the Green Revolution seeds and the industrial seeds and the corporate seeds come out of greed. Because of the higher use of chemicals, not only are you producing nutritionally empty food, you are producing toxic food. So the high-yielding variety, it creates a militarized mind that is at war with the earth, that is at war with society. The two things that we have to watch out for is there is a nutrition crisis, but it's a nutrition crisis of all nutrients disappearing from the soil, our food, and therefore our bodies. To see how, beginning with the seed, we come to the health of the planet and our health. So I would say to you, young organic farmers, this work is the work of love. This work is a work for truth, not just the truth of as science, but the truth of your being, of knowing that we are one with the earth.
Since you have so rich of knowledge, working with farming and young people, do you have any success model to really convince the young people back to natural farming? How they feel confident enough to pursue the career as organic farming?
Don't look at it as a career. Look at it as service to the earth. Agriculture, culture of care for the land.
Do little things first, step by step, and your path will open up. Work with the seeds that you have. Exchange it with your neighbors, or with the small groups you have in your local community, in your local area, and then try and reach out. You have to choose. You can choose the system, the path of death, or the path of the living.